Good morning, everybody on YouTube. This is Rick Thomas from Obsolete Video Services. We are now buttoning up the Sony Av-8650. This thing was a disaster. Took 2 days of service on this machine. This thing was really screwed up. This thing came out of a school, and of course, during the time they didn't quite know how to use these machines. They had a lot of sticky tape, which causes serious damage. A lot of that problems I had to fix that issues with that. The video head had a big issue. The brushes, I had to replace a broken wire, which is on the drum, which holds the tape down on the drum. All lubrication, spindles, belts, alignments. This thing was completely screwed up. As you can see, we now have good audio and good video. And video signal is you always know when you've got a machine that's working really good is when you got the video levels in the right spot, which these almost all the time never do because the machines are always out of spec. But once you get them working properly and you get a good video signal, you know you got a good machine. As you see, we're running a test tape. This is a test tape I had for a while, black and white. So you can see you got good stability, good tracking. When you get good lock, good RF lock, you know you got a machine that's going to work well for you. That's not a very easy thing to do on these machines. The Sony AV series, I do not like these machines at all. I prefer the Panasonic machines, but this is the flagship of the Sony AV series, the Av-8650 editor. It's still, it's built very well. It's just it's got the crappy skew and tension. If they would have fixed that, and put a system in like what Panasonic did, this would have been a kick-ass system. But unfortunately, they didn't, and they incorporated that prior than the 3650, 3600, and all the other models. They just kept going with the same problem, and a lot of times when you try playing people's tapes, you get a lot of stability and tracking issues, all because of this tracking and skew, which is a freaking nightmare. I replaced the drag band. I made a new one. Anyways, did all the lubrication adjustments, alignments. Video had problems. It had a circuit board problem. I mean, this thing had a lot of issues. It took me 2 days to restore this machine. But we got it all back to where it belongs. And I have people asking me out there, what do you charge to do a complete restoration of an AV series? I charge $1,200 to restore one of these people. It takes 2 days to work on these machines. These are not easy to fix. There's a lot of work. Needs a lot of parts. You got to know what you're doing. Believe me, I wouldn't wish this on my worst nightmare for anybody to want to work on one of these. You will seriously get pissed off and start throwing screwdrivers and everything else because it's such a pain in the ass to work on. These reel-to-reel EIJs are not fun machines to work on. This is why people pay me. I make $1,200 per deck if you want one serviced. I don't do it any cheaper because I'm not making any money doing this at all. These take an enormous amount of work to fix one of these machines. So just to let people know out there, if you're interested in getting a Sony EIJ machine fixed and you want it done properly and you want me to oversee it and overlook the problems, it's $1,200 per deck, and I'll service it, get it back to you, and you'll get a good playable machine for your transfers and your company or whatever you have that you do tape transfers. You'll have something that'll be usable so you can do some really decent transfers for your customers. Again, guys, we're wrapping up this Sony Av-8650 and got everything all working beautiful. Took 2 days of a disaster of a machine. I mean, this thing had an awful lot of problems. I had to break it down and strip it down and start from scratch because of the problems this machine had. It just had so many issues. It had a bad RP board due to the people forcing tapes through the machine with sticky tape. Power supply was kind of screwed up. I had an extra one of those. I changed that out because one of the boards wasn't getting power for the audio. So I had to change that board out. So yeah, this thing had an awful lot of problems, but we got it all back and running again. It does play the Sony AV3400 tapes, which are the 30-minute tapes, which were the more prior ones. But it was designed for the hour tapes and for editing and color playback and black and white. But if you have these type of tapes, you gotta really consider the tapes all have to be baked and cleaned before you even run these things. Trust me, you will have problems and you will destroy your machine. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video.